Previously on the Great Ace Attorney 2 Resolved. Anyway.
Objection!
Objection! Oh my god. Holy shit, I'm entering bullet time! Take this, Max Payne! Ah, god! Before I die, I will pass this ability on to my successor. He'll be the real Max Payne, and he'll be on a PS2 console, and he'll be the greatest thing ever, get a few spin-offs. And now, back to legging people. Hello! NicoB! Back with some more The Great Ace Attorney 2 Resolve. When we last left off, we learned that, in fact, the reporter guy that's been following Soseki around is likely the culprit, or at least is likely involved in some way. Like I fucking thought. The moment I saw, like, this weird ink on his hand, I'm like, oh, wait, there he is. There's the guy right there. Can't have this weird detail like that and not have it mean something, right? And the thing is, early on, like, the first case is always like, there's usually not that many people involved in the case, so it's generally pretty easy to pick out, like, okay, this person's the killer. I mean, granted, I am jumping a bit ahead. I wouldn't know for certain, but I'm like 95% sure that it's gonna be this guy. But the game could still throw a curveball at me and be like, I'm just kidding. It was actually this guy in the audience, or it was actually Suzuto's father, or no, it was actually the real Max Payne. Ouch, he rips his face off. He's like, that's right, it was actually me. I'm actually a few hundred years old. I've been alive since this game started. Gotcha, motherfucker, and I killed him. I killed them all. Proceeds to murder everybody in the courtroom, and the rest of the game is just hunting down Ouchie, the true mastermind of this entire series. But it's really good so far. I am really enjoying what they're setting up here. And oh, by the way, you guys did confirm, I'd forgotten, there actually was a to be continued in the first case of the previous game. 2, in fact. It wasn't without to be continued. I thought I remembered it just going straight without any, but no, that's right. You're right. There were actually 2. But I remember actually being shocked about that as well. I mean, like, what the fuck? Are you kidding me? It seems to me like this one is likely going to be shorter, but unless it throws a curveball, because we're already kind of getting to the meat of it, I think, right? Once we like start facing off against the supposed killer, it usually means we're getting there, right? So I'd predict 1, maybe 2 episodes left for this case. I mean, I'm not in any rush. Like, this isn't like before where I'm like, oh, this thing needs to end or something. I mean, I'm fully invested. I'm fine. I think they're doing a great job of setting the stakes for this early case. By the way, I also did see, I asked you guys about the 60 FPS, what you guys thought. And I think most of you guys were pretty good with it. I did see a few people who were like, I'm not really so sure about it, or if this game really needs it. And of course it doesn't, right? Does the game need 60 FPS? No, it's not like, this wasn't like oh God, what the fuck? I'm so sick of these 30 FPS Ace Attorney games ruining my experience. Basically, one of the moderators brought up to me that this patch had been done and that it also fixed a few things. And I was like, okay, I'll give it a try. And I think it looks pretty good, honestly. And honestly, if I wanted to remove it, it's really easy to remove. All I gotta do is like basically remove 2 files. I did see one of you guys actually bring up that you play through the entire game with the 60 FPS thing, so there's no worry about it like fucking up animations. I did see a few people who were kind of worried about that. So I think we'd be good in that regard. In that case, I'm just gonna keep it because I actually kind of like it. I think it's kind of like a nice sort of mix up to the usual, I don't know, it's a little thing, but to me, seeing it something at like 60 FPS just makes it look a little like more current gen, if that makes sense, you know? Also, I have noticed, this thing you guys point out, I actually noticed it myself, the menus are actually more responsive than they are in the 30 FPS one. I mean, not like a ton, it's not like, you know, there was like 2 seconds of delay or something, but it is a small thing. But just the general air about this change is either like it looks good or indifference. I'm just gonna keep it. So, and if for some reason something does go wrong later on, I can always just easily remove it and replay that part. So, but like I said, from what I've heard, it seems like it should be fine. But anyway, last episode, Meowsy said, if we ever get the Great Ace Attorney 3, we're going full circle of the tutorial case. Giselle Brett will return from the dead to testify against also not dead John H. Watson, who murdered Rudden Mini Mimo. Yes, I can't wait. I can't fucking wait. Zombie Giselle Brett and John H. Watson. It's like, wait, who killed it this time? I guess it wasn't Giselle Brett because we already did it the first time, so now it's John H. Watson. And Iris come out, she's like, Father, why? Why would you do this? She's like, because the bitch fucking killed me. And then that guy killed her, and I wanted to get vengeance, So I killed him to get the thing. Beautiful vengeance triangle. I can't wait. It's gonna be amazing. I've already funded the Kickstarter for that project. Expected in 2038. But Meowsy, thank you so much for your absolutely guaranteed look into the not so near future. And it is for that reason you are comment of the day. By the way, another thing you guys actually pointed out to me that it didn't even hit me. Susto's actually doing 2 different types of death slams. And one is Naruhodo's and the other is actually a Sogi's. Oh, that's so cute. The one where she like punches down with her fist. That was a Sogi's. I forgot about that actually. For some reason I thought Naruto did that as well. But it didn't actually occur to me that, no, I think Naruhodo only had that one. She's just doing both of them, showing her influences though. God damn, man, it's so good. So cute. But all right, so we completed part 1. Time to head into part 2 and see what's up with the reporter guy. Reporter man. August 13th, 10:41 a.m. Supreme Court of I hate saying this word. Judicature, or is it judicature? No, I think it's judicature. Judicature. Yeah, I think that's how you say it. Supreme Court of Judicature, Defendant's Antechamber 3.
Blue? I'm so sorry, Susato. I should have told you about the toxin. Rei.
You have a strong sense of responsibility, I know. That's why you decided to shoulder the burden alone.
No, that's not it at all.
By the way, you guys did point out, I don't know how true this is, but somebody said that apparently, like, in the initial concepts of this game, initially they actually had planned for Susto's father to be the person that Susto was defending in this case. They ended up changing it to Rei here because they thought it would be a bit unrealistic to have her father basically up there like tutoring Susto in the art of law, which, yeah, that definitely would have been a little weird. I don't know if the judge would have been absolutely all right with that. I mean, granted, the judges tend to let us get away with a lot in these games, but that might have been a little bit like a bit of a stretch. Good, Susato, you did a good job defending me against that statement. I mean, I guess Naruhodo technically represented himself in the first case of the previous game, but that was because he was, technically his own lawyer, right? And Asogi was just up there to advise him. So I don't know if that would really work unless Mikotoba was actually his own lawyer as well. So I don't know how true that is. Somebody said they looked it up from like concept stuff, but if that's true, that's interesting, kind of interesting behind the scenes.
No, that's not it at all. I was scared of my failure coming to light, that's all. So I hope to retrieve the substance from the Englishwoman before anyone found out. Before the trial started, do you remember what you said, Susato? That you had no doubt in your mind about my innocence, that you'd stand by me to the last. I remember. And yet I didn't deserve your trust in me. I hid important details from you, Susato. I completely betrayed your faith in me. Hit me, Susato! I deserve it! Give me the Susato toss! No, in fact, throw me to the floor! Dominate me! Do it! Okay, hold on. I think we're going in a different direction here. No, that's too good for me as well. Drag me through the city streets. I'm no better, you know. Oh? Even though in my heart I knew you'd pull the knife blade from Miss Brett's back, there was just a brief moment when, in my mind, you fucking did it, didn't you, you crazy bitch? Bah! I doubted you. Susato! I'm sorry. After I stood here and promised you that I'd stand by you and always be on your side, I betrayed your faith in me too. And as such, I failed as your lawyer. Oh, no.
Okay, you two. Will you just hug it out already? I think the situation has taught you both a valuable life lesson.
Thanks, Daddy.
Placing your unbridled faith in another is no easy task.
Yes, Father. That fact has certainly struck home. Which is why I can see more clearly now. So, Rei? Yes? Can you find in your heart to forgive me?
No!
Oh, Susato! You know you'll always be a gallant, dashing lawyer in my eyes now. Oh, Rei. Oh, you!
Duh. After hugging it out for many, many, many hours.
I was so scared, when it happened. I didn't know what was going on. The Englishwoman was sitting at the back of the hut, listening to what I was saying. I know it was you who stole the poison! Well now, whatever do you mean?
She just didn't even notice that knife in her back.
She's like, I felt a little prick in the back. Was there a mosquito in here? Ah, bleh. And then, a moment later, she suddenly got to her feet.
Bleh.
See ya, bitch. For collapsing on the floor in front of me with a knife in her back.
And a devious smile.
It all happened right before my eyes. And you were the only people in the hut at the time. That's right. Just Miss Bright and myself. There was no one else. So I just don't understand how she could have possibly been stabbed like that.
I mean, the camera seemed like it was kind of from behind her, right? So it seems like maybe someone like snuck underneath the tent and then stabbed her. She fell to the ground and then took a picture, which would have kind of led me to believe, like, how the hell could she not have seen that? Especially in a probably relatively dimly lit tent, not to see like the light from outside creeping out from underneath it. A great mystery indeed.
I still can't believe it happened. That's why I just couldn't bring myself to speak up.
Or maybe that knife was just sort of sitting up against the back of whatever she was lying herself up against, and she just kind of backed into it. Ah! Oh, shit!
It'll be all right. However it happened, and whatever really went on by the sea that day, I promise you that I'm going to prove everything you saw was true.
Spoken like a true Mikotoba. Yeah, like me! Now, I think we should discuss what's coming up in the trial, don't you? We don't have much time. We must make sure to have our facts in order.
Yes, I expect the poison is going to come under close scrutiny in the upcoming proceedings. The police should hopefully have identified it on the blade by now. The trouble is, it's a completely new laboratory synthesis blend of alkaloids.
Yeah.
The police won't have any way of testing for it. Oh, I see.
It was actually literally written in the report, Suzuto, remember? That's what I was thinking too. I'm like, are they even gonna, yeah. Yeah, so without this chemical reagent, it's impossible to detect the toxin. What? Without this what? Mikotoba, why are you holding on to that? Why did you mention that to everybody?
Oh, guess it just slipped my mind. Aren't I just a silly little Billy?
Chemical reagent.
I sent a colleague of mine off with some earlier to deliver to police headquarters. Oh, okay. I was about to be like, are you kidding me, dude? I think perhaps you should have some as well, though, just in case. You have to present it.
A special indicator solution for a new poison under development by my father's team. It's been created in strict secrecy and exists only in my father's laboratory.
Can I examine it? I can.
Pull that shit open.
Nothing appears obviously out of ordinary here, does it?
Oh.
It says asparagus.
The label appears to be written in a foreign language that I don't know.
It's German, so your knowledge of English is going to be of little help here, I'm afraid.
That handwriting sucks, dude. Cranial?
Couldn't you have just written medicine on it in Japanese? Then we'd all be able to read it.
German is the international language of medicine, my dear. But yes, I can certainly see the merit in labeling the bottle in Japanese. I'm not sure medicine would be entirely appropriate.
Murderson. Anything else? I guess not.
Let's try a taste of this. See what happens. Yummy reagent. Okay.
Oh wait, have I looked at this? That's just a 2D image. Okay.
What's the matter, Suzuto? You're suddenly very quiet.
I just drank some of that reagent and I don't feel so good. It's this newspaper article. Exclusive. Deadly poison stolen from Yume Medical Research Laboratory. I'm wondering how the information got out, given that it was a government secret. It was all that English woman's doing. What? It was when the professor and Soseki-san were being interviewed at the laboratory. The so-called English lady swanned in, and without any compunction, said to Professor Mikotoba, "You's a filthy hoe, slut! What?" Then she smacked him in the face and ran away. And everyone in the building just went, "Oh!
Holy shit! Can you believe that happened?
She just owned that guy.
And that was the first time that expression had ever been used in that way.
Professor, surely your guests would love to hear about your work on that substance there."
It put me in a very awkward position, to be frank. But Soseki-san's curiosity had been piqued, so I had little choice but to give him a cursory introduction.
So then Soseki-san knew about the poison.
Yes, it's highly likely that the reporter who was writing up the story about us would have caught a glimpse of the toxin too.
This this fucking name! This Menamimo!
That's really hard to say. By the way, you guys clarify this. I think I initially thought it was like writing me a memo. You guys said it's probably more likely writing many memos. I gotcha. Yeah, that's probably a bit. I think I gotta fix this a bit better. But many memo. It's like funny, when I say it, I feel like I'm saying too many syllables, but I think that's it. Many memo.
By the way, did that reporter join you all when you went to the beach? Oh. No, I don't remember the reporter being there.
But he was probably following Soseki, right? Indeed, he shouldn't have been. I very much doubt anyone would have warned him there.
Oh.
A known criminal had been given permission by the authorities to bathe by the seaside. Soseki's son pointed out that inviting a reporter might be problematic, so the man was sent back to his office.
Yet he obviously didn't go back. He secretly followed the party to the beach and took this very candid photograph. And then presumably he posted it anonymously to the police.
Yes, that must be what happened.
Counselor, where did I go with it? Whatever. Counselor, I'm committed. His great.
Yes, we know, just get on with it.
Just heard that the new witness is now ready to testify. Trial's about to resume. Please proceed to the courtroom at once.
Thanks, Guy. It's time to steel ourselves once again, then. Defense Attorney Ryotaro Naruhodo.
Yes, I mean yes. Rei has put her faith in me now and told me everything. So I can't let her down. I have to prove that what she's telling the court is true. I have to prove what really happened that day.
Let's do it.
All right. Time to see what hilarious animations this guy has. August 13th, 11:30 a.m. Supreme Court of Judicature, Courtroom 1. That is a really hard word for me to say for some reason.
I hereby call this court to order as we reconvene to continue the trial of Rei Membami.
Oh, by the way, another thing you guys told me. It turns out the animation I saw of him like wielding the gavel like that, it was actually this judge. It was apparently not anybody else. So what I was remembering was literally him doing it before. Okay, gotcha. Still horrifying. I kind of wish our old-fashioned judge did it though, just because I find it fucking hilarious.
Prosecutor Ouchie, have you summoned the new witness?
Nah, couldn't find him. Oh well, I guess it's gotta be this lady. Bye! Nah. Before I address that question, Your Excellency. Oh, his suck up. We haven't seen his suck up animation in a while. I have some very important news to share.
Oh.
What news? And why does he look so happy about it?
During the recess, with the collaboration of Professor Mikotoma's laboratory at Yume University, the police re-examined the knife that was used to end Miss Giselle Brett's life.
Excellent. I admire your rapid handling of the matter.
Oh, too kind, Your Excellency. Too kind. I was merely carrying out your instructions, of course.
I had the reagent delivered to police headquarters by rickshaw, so it should be there in good time. So it would be there in good time. But judging by the man's swagger, I feel we might need to brace ourselves for the inevitable.
And counsel, what were the results?
What do you think, bitch? This dagger, which was so cruelly used to end the life of the victim, has no trace of poison anywhere along its blade.
What? Are you sure about that?
I would stick the reputation of the police on it.
Armed with the reagent, the test is extremely simple. They couldn't have made a mistake.
Okay.
Interesting.
Are we suggesting then that the poison got into her system another way? Maybe? In short, the accused's feeble excuse earlier has been utterly destroyed!
Good Lord, 60, calm down. Stop doing that. You're making us look bad.
Now, the prosecution is ready to call the new witness.
New newspaper reporter who managed to capture a photograph of the crucial moment. Good. Very well, officer, bring in the witness.
No trace of poison on the knife. But if that's really the case, how could the toxin have entered the victim's body?
There's the ink. Just can't get it off, I guess. Witness, please state your name and occupation for the court. I guess I should just give him the usual kind of go-to guy. Riding Mini-Mimo to show you news. I'm what people call a journo.
What's a journo, Father? Do you know?
It's simply a contraction of journalist. It's how you say journalist, like a douchebag.
I'm there when the news breaks, putting pen to paper to catch those scoops so they're in print the next morning. They don't call me the hero of the Herald for nothing. The nice guy of news.
Oh God, his music's kicking in.
Oh, so, it was you who took this photograph, was it?
Well, what have we here?
I'm sorry.
Oh, brace yourselves, people. Mini-Mimos, this is a scoop in the offing. Female student up to foul play, defended by curiously handsome young lawyer in Supreme Court. The readers will lap this up. We'll set it up above the fold at 72 point in a 5-leg format for the morning edition.
Huh?
Right then, let's start with your name.
Oh, it's Ryotaro Naruhodo.
Next, what made you want to become a lawyer?
I wanted to reform our country's legal system, I suppose.
Ryotaro suddenly become very ambitious, I see.
I just borrowed Cosmo-sama's dream for a while.
By the way, my name is Taketsuchi Ouchie. That's Taketsuchi Ouchie. You know, like the sound you make when you get hurt. Like, ah! The so-called dark horse of the Supreme Court. My objections strike fear in every defense lawyer's heart.
No interest, right?
Nope, the readers won't buy that.
They don't believe that at all. Witness.
Yes?
What this court demands to know is whether or not you were responsible for taking this picture. It was delivered anonymously to the Imperial Police Bureau only yesterday.
Yeah, I wouldn't be a journo if I didn't click quick when presented with a scoop like that now, would I? Sometimes stories call out to me. Sometimes I have to chase them down. But either way, you gotta be fast. Fast legs to run with and a fast hand to write with. It's no good if you don't note it down, I always say. That's what I call my metamiosm. Oh my God.
Metamiosm?
Ah, yes. I remember your face. We met that day when you were interviewing myself and Soseki-san.
Yes, right. That was me, Metamino again.
But you were supposed to be going back to the Shoryu news office after a meeting.
But the scoop is, I didn't. Because that English woman's words had piqued my journalistic interest.
Miss Brett's words.
A criminal, left to do as she pleases, just because she happens to be a British citizen. Oh, Jesus. It's horse dung. This country's judiciary system is rotten to the core.
Oh, he's got that right.
The Supreme Court's rulings aren't worth the paper they're written on. The police are just imperial pawns. Stay your tongue, young man. There are complex political issues at play, all right? You shut your dirty whore mouth. Huh. Well, anyway, I quickly jotted down those words she said in my Minamino. Oh my God, fuck you. My Minamino memo pad. Are you ready? I'll read it out. It's all here, all right? Here goes. I should like to go with everyone to see our country's ghost. A serious criminal going on some junket. The people need to know about this. That's why I decided to sneak after them. To get the woman's story so I can hammer her in the press.
Do you mean to say that you did indeed witness it firsthand? The grim scene portrayed in this photograph.
Oh yes, I saw with my very own journal eyes. From start to finish, through the viewfinder of my trusty camera.
Thank you, Minami-san. Oh my God, saying your name is killing me. You will now give a formal testimony before the court. You will state exactly what it is that you witnessed of the events surrounding Miss Brett's death. Okay, this should be interesting.
Hit me. The camera never lies. The beach hut was made of a shoddy old reed screen, so there were plenty of gaps I could see through.
Oh, okay. We read screens.
The Englishwoman was sitting on a stool when the student girl came in and started arguing with her. Seconds later, the girl put out a knife. Throwing the Englishwoman to the floor, she stabbed her in the back. My smoldering journal spirit burst into flames. Quick as a flash, I whipped out my camera and ready to click. I pulled apart the rough weave of one of the screens and poked the lens through for the perfect shot. I am ready for those suspenders gonna be like probably part of his freak out animation, right? It's gonna like he's gonna let go of him and like it's gonna hit it, like smack into him and knock the air out of him or something.
Read screens, you say? Or you say?
Right, you can see them clearly enough in that great shot I snapped. The hot walls are the screens made of costly woven reeds. I see. Okay, now it makes a little more sense that she wouldn't have noticed.
Yes, it allows the breeze to pass through and bring some relief from the summer heat.
I was kind of imagining it was more like a cloth tent, right? They just like lift up, but yeah, that's right. And it was a breeze for me to poke my camera through and to see the whole thing hotting up.
Ignoring for the time being the appalling invasion of privacy involved.
Yeah, really.
Did you witness everything that happened from the moment the defendant entered the hut?
Oh yes, I saw it. I saw the whole thing from start to finish.
And you say you took the photograph through a gap in one of those screens.
Luckily for me, they were pretty shabbily woven. I pulled the reeds apart and thrust the lens of my camera through the gap. Giggity. Would I get away with it? Or would I be seen? It was the gamble of a lifetime. Yeah.
You need to get a new lens for your camera.
A tenacity of purpose is considered admirable in a journalist, I suppose. Run a risk. What a day. Oh my God. Why the tongue twisters with this guy? Why? Why is it? Okay, I can do this. Run a risk one a day. Run a scoop the next. That's Minamiosum in a nutshell.
At last, the time has come and so have we. It appears we have a genuine witness to this wicked crime. It's totally not going to be the killer. The evidence and testimony are extremely compelling. I believe we may be close to a verdict.
No.
Wonderful news, Your Excellency. Wonderful.
Nevertheless, it cannot be denied that this testimony begs one very large question.
What question?
Exclusive news. A startling photograph. All the makings of an exceptional story for the reporter. Why then was the story never published?
Yep.
Oh, that's right.
It seems clear to me that there are circumstances at play here that are yet to be understood.
Ha! More pathetic excuses?
Very well then, counsel. Proceed with your cross-examination.
Yes, Your Excellency. There's more to this reporter than meets the eye. He's keeping something about this case very close to his chest.
Okay. Did anything right off the bat, like, stand out to me? The camera never lies. Let's just go ahead and press them. The beach hut was made of shoddy old reed screens, so there were plenty of gaps I could see inside through.
What made you want to see what was happening inside the beach hut in the first place?
Call it general instinct. Can you think of a better reason?
Right.
Oh, I don't know. Perhaps because, as well as being a proven criminal, the person inside was a young woman?
Ah, I see where you're going with this. Brace yourselves, people. He's painting the journal as a voyeur.
It's hardly slender, sir. You had a camera and you were taking pictures of the woman's knowledge.
Nope, you got all wrong, little student boy.
Sorry?
To my mind, all that was inside that hut was a scoop. Nothing more, nothing less. Scoops know no gender, man or woman. It's all news. That's not even minimiosum. It's basic journalism.
If only the courtroom was as indiscriminate.
Right, so if that's all buttoned up, can we move on?
I guess that's good enough for me. Sure, whatever lets you sleep at night, man. Tell the court then, witness, what sight befell your eyes when you looked inside the hut?
A sight that vindicated my journal instinct, that's what. When I pulled back the reeds, I could see it all as clear as day. The Englishwoman was sitting on a stool when the student girl came in and started arguing with her.
Hold it! Mata! So you saw Membami-san entering the hut?
Yep, and she was raging like my journal spirit.
And the argument you mentioned, what was that about exactly?
You stole it, I didn't steal it, that kind of thing.
Talking about the poison, I suppose.
The student girl walked right up to the Englishwoman and really started laying into her. I mean, if she'd laid into her anymore, there would have been eggs. Waka waka.
The man should have been an author. His descriptive talents are wasted on journalism.
But the student's rantings fell on deaf ears, like a Japanese person listening to English for the first time.
He really ought to work on his similes first, though, to be honest.
Anyway, the point is that the woman in the dock was mightily angry. And her temper finally got the better of her, it seems. Dear me. Which was the climactic moment that I caught on film. Yeah! Okay, seconds later, the girl put out a knife, throwing the Englishwoman to the floor as she stabbed her in the back. Yeah!
Hold it!
Hold it!
Do you swear before the court that you actually saw the precise moment when the stabbing took place?
Ha! The precise moment? I didn't just see that. I saw the whole hellish scene play out from start to finish. I have here a simple plan of the beach hut. Perhaps you could use it to explain to the court exactly what you witnessed. Right you are. It's all here in my Menamino memo pad. When I first peered into the hut, I'm sure that Englishwoman was on this stool at the back of the hut here.
Okay.
Yes, the accused's own testimony confirmed that.
She just sat at the back of the hut, smiling sweetly, is what I have noted down.
It's my turn to testify now. Try not to interrupt.
Fuck you.
Then the next moment, as I was watching, the evil student girl entered the hut. And they did battle. After a while, the pair of them ended up in the middle of the hut, arguing furiously. They danced around each other. The English woman went for the student, but the girl dodged out of the way.
Wait. He's saying that she attacked her? Apparently, in the middle of the hut, arguing furiously, the Englishwoman went for the student, but the girl dodged out of the way?
And in a flash, plunged the knife into her adversary's back as the two passed each other. Like a fucking anime.
But then in that instance, you could actually argue was self-defense. Potentially.
She was gonna stab me with a pin.
I don't know. Interesting. What you describe is a grim crime indeed.
Never sugarcoat the truth. That's what minimalism says.
Okay, a plan of the layout of the small beach hut where the victim was found.
By the way, Minamio-san, whilst you were watching that terrible scene unfold before your eyes through the gap in the screen, did it not occur to you to try to prevent the tragedy rather than capture it on film?
Journals have to be observers. We can't get involved. That's our raison d'etre. Oh, God. Raison d'etre? Maybe?
I don't know. This is the problem. See, with some languages, like now German to some extent, and Spanish, I can be like, all right, I can kind of sound out because I know how, for the most part, how pronunciations for words and letters go. French, I'm still completely clueless on, so when I get to this, I'm like, yeah, I'm probably saying it wrong. That's our raison d'etre.
So you didn't converse with Miss Bright at all?
Obviously not. An observer always remains on the outside looking in.
And that's something to be proud of, is it?
Your Excellency, if I may. Yes, Professor. I think the witness's last expertly phrased statement should perhaps be added to his formal testimony.
Father, what are you?
I will grant the defense's request. Minamimo-san, will you supplement your formal testimony with the aforementioned statement?
Well, nihilism is the foundation of the minimalism, but I'm gladly prove that my words are meaningless.
Ow.
I never once set foot in the hut, nor spoke with the Englishwoman. I was only there as an observer.
Okay. So, let's see. Got anything for that? Interesting, you actually see in the back, you see that little slit in the wall above the stool? It does sort of suggest that she actually could have been sitting there and that she literally got stabbed in the back through the wall. I don't know if this is where the, if the pin would come into play here, like the liquid on his hand and stuff, but we're not really bringing it up. I mean, all right, I think I'm just gonna press him here.
Hold it!
Really, you didn't set foot inside the hut at all? Are you quite sure about that?
I think you may have the wrong impression of me. We're talking about a murder scene here. My nerves were stretched to breaking point already.
Oh, I see. You were scared. Maybe I did have the wrong impression of you, yes.
It was all I could do to stifle a scream and hold my hands steady enough to snap the shot.
You really should have summoned help before thinking of your camera.
Menamimoism and humanism don't always agree. And most of the time in those instances, Menamioism comes out on top. As a sculptor of stories, sometimes I have to be cruel for my art. Yes, that's spot on.
Surely he's making all this up.
He claims to have spied the whole affair from the start to finish. It's true, his testimony is devastating.
But it does seem as though he's holding something back, doesn't it?
If that's how you feel, I suggest that you trust your instincts and press him on everything he said. As you've no doubt seen many times before in your role as judicial assistant.
Yes, I have. I've seen witnesses like this pressed often. I know exactly what to do.
Wait, did I ever see any of the testimony? Oh, it jumped to the end. It actually added that. It actually added that bit. Interesting. Maybe I'm not misremembering here, but I usually thought I remember whenever they added a testimony, it usually added immediately after the testimony that you pressed on. This time they'd actually added it to the very end. Yeah, interesting. Yeah, I think usually it does that, and then like it'll add it in between his other stuff and then go with the rest of the testimony. All right, my smoldering journal spirit burst into flames. Quick as a flash, I whipped out my camera, ready to click.
The court is fully aware of your desire to capture the incident on film, I'm sure. But why then did you choose to post the photograph anonymously to the police?
I'm afraid I don't understand a word that's coming out of your mouth.
I'm asking why, as a journalist, you decide not to make a story out of the incident.
Think of me as a sculptor who makes art of sordid, private details of other people's lives. But I never discuss my own personal life on principle. I mean, that's basic minimalism.
It's not something to boast about.
No doubt your burning desire to see the truth exposed and justice done was what motivated you. That's it, that's brilliant. My burning desire to see something or other exposed.
There has to be a good reason why he didn't think to write an article about what he saw, though.
By your own admission, you were outside the hut. How then did you manage to take the photograph?
Ah, yes, that. I'm glad you asked.
Okay.
I pulled apart the rough weave of one of the screens and poked the lens through for the perfect shot.
But the two women inside didn't notice.
Ha! Obviously not. If they had, where would I be right now? In jail, that's where.
Which you think would make you reflect on what you were doing.
Nope. A journalist's job is to collect little snippets of life as uninterestedly as possible. Leave nothing but footprints. Take nothing but photos. Yes, that's spot on.
Did he just make that up?
The point is, the witness risked life and limb to obtain this photograph. And this photograph reveals the whole truth. There is nothing more to be said. Oh, okay. There wasn't anything more, really? Okay, so I can work with this. What am I missing here? So there was nothing new gleaned. I never once set foot inside the hut. So what is this for my, I don't think the fountain pen is coming to play here. It's just too early for that. Is there footprints? We see footprints. Oh, I should look at the knife. I haven't done that yet.
Oh yes, supposed to be the victim's blood.
Oh dear, blood is never a pretty sight, is it? Having to fight the urge to run under a hot tap and get it cleaned.
You've always been fastidious about cleanliness, haven't you?
I think this is something else, Father.
I'm not seeing anything else. Yeah, it's supposed to be pretty bad if it was like, there's a hidden compartment in the blade and the police never noticed it, or something. Oh, hey, there's a part of the pin I didn't examine.
There's some sort of emblem here, look. But isn't it a Yume University one?
Must belong to some other organization, I suppose. A business of some kind. But that would seem to imply that the pin doesn't in fact belong to Rei. Okay. Oh, right in Mimo. I get it. Aha, how did it not immediately occur to me? So the emblem. Oh, it's on his armband. There we go. There we go. I was like, I am missing something here, dude. Like, I am still not seeing the connection to any of the evidence I have here. It's because I missed a single observation. There we go.
Menamimo-san, until now I've had a firm belief that newspapers are in the business of uncovering and publishing the truth.
You're spot on there. The press doesn't lie, which is why I'm proud to wear the emblem of the Show You News on my arm. which I'm just gonna go ahead and point out real quick. In a way, that's more minimalism.
Sadly, though, it seems the journalists who write for those papers don't always share the same passion for the truth.
What are you suggesting with these recriminatory words, Counsel?
Minamimo-san, do you recognize this fountain pen? This pin was found at the scene of Miss Brett's death. In fact, the murderer victim was gripping it in her hand as she died.
What are you?
If you look at the barrel of the pin, you'll notice that its owner's initials are engraved there. R.M.
What a coincidence that also happen to be the same initials for for Rei as well.
Damn! What a horribly coincidental turn of events!
Yes, thank you for bringing that up, Counsel. The initials of the accused, Rei Membami.
Is it a coincidence? I wonder. Their initials are also RM.
No! Oh God, no!
Right in Menamimo, RM.
That's horse dung. Can't you see? One of the central tenets of Menamism is a pencil user.
And yet, as the court will clearly be able to see, on your right hand, there's a very obvious blue ink stain.
I see. Okay. I actually needed that. So, like, I'll be honest, I did actually present it first before looking at the emblem, and it didn't give it to me. But I had to get the emblem in addition to the ink stain. So I did point out the ink stain. It was basically three things: RM, emblem, ink stain. But you had to have all three, otherwise it doesn't count. If I just stand here forever, he's just gonna forever keep licking that pencil. Oh, that's some good stuff there.
It would appear that you must have rather carelessly left us somewhere recently. Your favorite fountain pen, that is.
Horsey horse dog. Horse shit. That's a nice way of saying horse shit.
Minamimo-san, is it not the case that before she died, you met with Giselle Brett in that beach hut?
Objection! Why should we listen to this absurd nonsense? It's nothing but another excuse. Exactly. Show You News will stand by me all the way. I deny everything. There must be as many people with initials as I am as there are stars in the night sky.
The defense has neither the time nor the inclination to count every star in the sky.
Huh?
And there's no need anyway, because this pen has more to tell. Yes, there is another clue. A clue that undeniably proves who its owner really is.
In that case, counsel, the defense will now show the court where this alleged clue lies.
Of course, Your Excellency. The clue in this fountain pen that clearly reveals its owner's identity is...
There it is. Behold. No. Okay, I got a triangle. Got it! Gotcha! Ah!
As well as the initials, there's also an emblem on this fountain pen. An emblem that will, of course, recognize Minamimo-san.
Goodness me, it's the emblem of the Show You News.
In other words, the owner of this pen is an employee of the Show You News, whose initials are RM. Suddenly the stars in the night sky don't seem so numerous, do they? Well, Minamimo-san, how do you respond?
No!
Order! Explain yourself, witness.
So, this is how the mighty Supreme Court works, is it? Using coercive tactics to have well-meaning citizens reveal harmless secrets.
I've used nothing but honest tactics.
All right, then, fine. I won't try to hide it anymore.
Uh-oh. Ooh, I'm actually wondering if at some point, though, that hat, we see it went over his face for a moment. It's gonna be a moment where he, like, pulls it up and it's gonna be like a fucking demon face or something.
Yes, not long before that grim tragedy unfolded, I, a Show You News reporter, on behalf of the public, conducted an interview with the Englishwoman.
An interview?
You never mentioned this before, you asshole!
What exactly was this?
Oh, I got my goofy music playing. As I said, it was before that evil little student girl showed her face in the hut. It couldn't have lasted more than 2 or 3 minutes. That's all. It was just a brief exchange. But it came to nothing, and as we Minamimoists say, the people don't pay the dues for unworthy news.
Pretty sure the only person who follows this fucking code, man. However insignificant you deem it to be, this court cannot overlook the meeting between yourself and the victim. You will testify now under oath about the precise nature of this meeting and what transpired.
Got it? Yes. All right. But on one condition. Condition? In all good conscience, I couldn't speak out alone about this. You need to call back the earlier witness, Soseki Natsume-san.
Soseki-san?
Oh yes, according to my notes here, that man has a secret of his own. Embrace yourselves, because it's not a harmless one, it's big. What? What? Metabolism states that one man's secret isn't every other man's front page story.
Very well, I will grant the witness's request in this instance. Officer, summon the earlier witness back to the stand.
Soseki-san, hiding something?
Soseki's the fucking killer. We shouldn't have got him off that crime from before back in Great Britain. The witness's secrets. I asked each woman for an interview, but she declined, so I left the hut without making a fuss. Then, watching secretly from outside, I saw the woman being stabbed and the other witnesses come running. The detective realized that the victim still had a pulse, so he ran off to fetch help. That's when this writer man here asked the woman a very significant question. But he didn't say anything about that in his testimony, which is why minimalism demands I reveal it now.
You mean to say the victim?
The victim regained consciousness?
And
what did you decide to ask her a question? Or what she did?
That's true, yes.
He did. And that's not all. The woman gave him a very definite answer. An answer that incriminates the accused.
Twitchy old Soseki.
This is preposterous. Why are we only hearing about this now? Why didn't you mention this before? You yokel hack.
It wasn't even a conversation. Yes, I did pose the Withering English Rose a question. I don't deny it. But she could no longer speak. She was barely conscious even.
Counsel for the defense, I expect a thorough cross-examination to be conducted here. This court must and will know the truth.
Absolutely, Your Excellency. The reporter's claiming the misspread implicated Rei somehow? What on earth could have happened in that hut?
All right, let's just go ahead and hop to it then. Let's go straight to the meat of it. What did she say? Okay, booga. Detective realized that the victim had a pulse. Asked him a very significant question, but he didn't answer. But didn't say anything about this in his testimony, which is why it demands I reveal it now.
Hold it.
Okay, what is it?
Soseki-san, are you trying to hide something?
Don't look at me like that.
Soseki-san, you must tell the court everything that happened.
Well, in truth, I've been catching crabs at the water's edge and building castles in the sand, you see.
Well, the seaside's a place to be at leisure, I suppose, even for a grown man.
But then all of a sudden, from the little beach hut, a young girl's panic-stricken cries for help pierced the air.
Rei.
I ran up the beach to see what was happening, to find the defendant leaning over the collapsed victim. As soon as Inspector Hosonaga saw bread on the ground, he sprinted off to get help. It did. Just a moment later, I heard a faint moan. A moan from the dead Englishwoman. I nearly jumped out of my skin.
But what did you ask her, Soseki-san?
I said, "You gonna die today, bitch?" I asked her, who did this to you?
Don't protract this any longer. How did the woman respond?
She didn't. She said nothing in response. But...
When in the stand, you will answer the questions asked of you unambiguously. Now, without evasion or reticence, I demand that you amend your testimony.
I will.
Okay, what?
I asked her who did this to you, but she never replied. She just lifted a trembling finger and pointed it in the direction of the defendant.
Hold it.
Miss Brett pointed a finger at the defendant. Soseki-san, is that really true?
It's not easy to stand here and say this, but when we first entered the beach hut, the Englishwoman was sprawled on the floor before us, with the student girl standing on the far side of her. And when I asked her, who did this to you? The Englishwoman summoned her last ounce of strength to point a trembling finger at the back of the hut.
But she was actually pointing to where the stab came from, more than likely, right?
Which was, it can't be denied, in the direction of the student girl who stands accused today.
Damn, fuck that evil bitch. Even in death, you still give us no lack of pain. No.
Soseki-san, why on earth did you neglect to mention this in your original testimony?
But fiddlesticks, I say!
This is not a British court of law. You will respond in Japanese. Don't give me your fiddlesticks, whatever those are.
Yes, of course. The Englishwoman did point a finger towards the back of the hut, but I was trembling. She was trembling, and everything I saw was a blur. And thinking about it, I feel as though perhaps she was pointing in a slightly different direction. Actually, no, not slightly, in a very different direction to where the student girl was standing. To somewhere at the back of the hut where nobody was standing at all.
You mean that your memory of the events and the direction in which the victim was pointing are both unclear?
Yes, that's it. Unclear. I'm very unclear.
Objection! Your Excellency, surely this proves the matter beyond all reasonable doubt. Yes, the woman may barely have been conscious, and yes, perhaps her finger wavered slightly, but there can be no doubt that this was an attempt by the victim to confirm the identity of her assailant. Why? Because as the court can see, there was no one other than the accused in the direction the victim was pointing. It is now abundantly clear that no one besides the accused could possibly have committed this crime.
I am inclined to agree. In the absence of any credible argument to the contrary, I believe we can now conclude this trial.
No!
Oh. The headline's writing as hell. Dashing lawyers hopes dash. 92 point across the whole page. We'll do an extra edition.
This is a serious blow, Susato. Unless we're able to identify the true culprit and substantiate our claim with evidence, the judge will give his ruling, and the trial will be over.
But that's impossible, Father. We don't even know how the crime was committed yet.
Impossible though the task may seem, we have no choice. We must think back over everything we've learned thus far.
This might be where I actually present the picture and show that there is that weird little crack in the back of the reeds.
Somewhere in all those details, I'm confident we'll find the clue we need.
Rei gave us her account of how events unfolded in the defendant's antechamber before the trial resumed. She told us what happened at the precise moment Miss Brett was killed.
Yeah.
The Englishwoman was sitting at the back of the hut, listening to what I was saying. And then, a moment later, she suddenly got to her feet. Before collapsing on the floor in front of me, with a knife in her back.
Yeah, I think it is it.
How could Miss Brett have been stabbed in the back of the beach hut that was empty but for herself and Rei? Somewhere amid all the information we've gathered so far, there must be an answer to that question.
I take it then that the defense has nothing further to add.
So the gallant yokel student's luck finally runs out. I can't say I'm surprised.
In that case, I'm ready to deliver my final verdict on this matter.
This is a crucial turning point now. If I can't establish what really happened, it's over. Where was the real culprit hiding? And how did he or she stab the victim?
I know.
Objection!
Who said that? Who possibly could have said that?
I did, bitch! I did, bitch. Your Excellency, I respectfully ask you to postpone your adjudication for the time being.
Oh, to what end, counsel?
What do you think, motherfucker? The defense would like to present the court with an alternative theory. An alternative theory that can explain who the victim was actually trying to implicate with her dying gesture.
Objection! An alternative theory? Ha! None exists!
Objection! There was someone else present at the scene who could have committed this crime.
What?
And the victim, Miss Brett, tried to reveal who it was to those around her at the time by mustering all her remaining strength and pointing a trembling finger in the killer's direction.
This is fiction! Fantasy!
Very well. As you seem so sure of yourself, counsel, I'm prepared to hear your alternative theory. So, young Ryotaro Naruhodo,
Yes, Your Excellency.
You will present your latest theory to the court by means of this plan. At the moment the victim was stabbed, where exactly are you proposing the culprit was concealed?
Back here.
Naruhodo-san would never give up. And I am a Naruhodo now. The true culprit who fatally stabbed Miss Brett was concealed in this location here.
Are you mad, Counsel? You're suggesting the culprit was outside the hut.
What? Are you mad?
Yes, mad with power.
Order! 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 Everyone shut up!
But student lawyer Naruhodo-san, Esquire, that makes no sense at all.
Yeah, you just pointed out the exact spot where I was hiding to get my scoop snap. But I didn't see any suspicious individuals loitering about. I can swear to that. Obviously, if the culprit had been outside the hut, there is no way that he or she could have stabbed the victim who was inside the hut.
Actually, Prosecutor Ouchie, there is a way. And, in point of fact, the defense can provide evidence strongly suggesting that it is precisely the way Miss Brett was killed.
You're bluffing. You're bluffing. Wait, and I'll just go through that. What do you say? You're bluffing, you yokel.
The defense's assertion is clearly too fantastical for the court to comprehend. You will need to give us more guidance, Counsel. What piece of evidence corroborates your theory that the victim was stabbed from outside the hut?
Picture.
The original photographic print of the crime scene.
Yes, it's clearly visible in this print. The trace of the fatal thrust that was delivered from outside the beach hut.
Objection!
Oh, good thing I noticed that earlier.
Do you take us for fools? There's no hint of any such thing.
I'm not sure that everyone present would agree. Someone, at least, appears to have noticed what it is that I'm referring to.
Counsel, once again, I must call on you to be explicit for the court. Where on this photograph is the trace of the stabbing which you claim took place from outside the hut? Behold! Get it right down the middle there.
Take that!
Look closely just here. In the screen at the back of the hut, you can see the effects of a blade having been forced through the reeds.
No, I can't. I can't see any such thing. I know what you're talking about.
It's true that the hut in question had 4 walls as you'd expect. However, by parting the reeds, a knife blade could easily penetrate them.
This is extraordinary.
Yes. Ah! The true culprit actually stabbed the victim from outside the beach hut. And of everyone present at the scene, there is only one person who could have done that. Only one person who was directly outside the hut when Miss Brett was killed. Right in Minamimo-san! It could only have been you!
Huh?
Ah!
Nah, he doesn't even grabbing his suspenders like I thought he would.
Ah! Objection! This preposterous idea leaves me almost speechless. Just look at the photograph again. The victim lies almost exactly in the center of the beach hut, does she not?
Are we to assume, as part of this farcical scenario, that the assailant was a knife thrower?
Objection!
No, of course not.
We're not? Why not?
If you recall the testimony of the defendant about the events just before the victim's death. Inside the beach hut, I confronted Miss Brett. But she just sat on a stool at the back of the hut, smiling sweetly at me as she knew she was untouchable.
A stool?
Have another look at the photograph. The slit in the read screen would align perfectly with the back of a person who was sitting on that stool.
My word. So, in fact, the victim was...
Killed with sitting on that stool by a stab wound to her back delivered through the read screen. Ah! Having been attacked, Miss Brett rose to her feet instinctively. But then, unable to speak, she collapsed on the floor in the middle of the hut before the defendant, Membami-san's appalled eyes. Ah! And that, Your Excellency, is the truth of what happened on the beach that day.
Oh boy.
By your silence, Minamimo-san, I take it that you don't deny the charge?
Oh boy.
This is, no, come on, not this shit again. I'm sorry!